Hello, in this video, I'll show you examples of how to use arrow functions in your day-to-day coding. By the end of this video, you should be comfortable using arrow functions in JavaScript. Let's get started. On my screen here, I have a VS Code instance open here. I have a browser and a console to log and test our code. In this VS Code, I have an index file that is just a basic index file with an app.js file that is attached using the script tag. This is the app.js file that we are going to use to test our arrow functions. So the first arrow function that you can write is the basic. So I'm going to call it the basic arrow function. So the basic arrow function, you can do like const add, then you pass two parameters x and y, then you put the arrow sign, then you simply add the numbers x plus y. You can call the function normally as you would call an ordinary function. So you can do like add, then you pass in the numbers. So we can pass in here 4, 3, and 4. We can just console log this. And before we console log that, I would like to test if our live server is working. I need to navigate to the directory and open up the path of my file. If you have not used live server before, I have other tutorials on how to install live server on your computer globally, or you can use it using the VS Code extension. I have another video linked in the description on how to use live server and how to install live server. Inside this folder, I'm going to start live server by typing live server, and an instance of live server is opened here. This one we're going to minimize, and we can see live server is working. I'm going to simply save this file, and you see it's loaded here. So this is the first way to write an arrow function. So you begin by declaring the function, then the equal sign, then the parentheses, brackets to pass in the parameters, and an expression without the curly brackets. So that's the most basic way to write an arrow function. I'm going to comment out this and move to the next way of writing an arrow function. This one I'd call it the block arrow function. So this block arrow function, you can begin by let add numbers. Suppose we have a function that adds the numbers, then this should be equal to the brackets, then the arrow sign, and the curly brackets. This is the block arrow function. So I can pass in my parameters again, x and y. Then inside here, I can return x plus y. So we're missing something there. This block can still work as the ordinary function, like the old function, the older way of writing functions. So I'm going to console log this and pass in. So I'll simply change the name of the function here and pass in different numbers. Maybe you can make this 49, this one you can make it 34. Then save, and it works. This is the second way to write a block arrow function. You're going to see this. This is one of the most common ways you'll come across of writing arrow function. I'm going to comment out this, but before I do that, I should give this as a number. Then this should be the second way. You can comment out this. We now move to the third way of writing an arrow function. You can write an arrow function with or without parameters. For example, arrow function with params. So arrow functions with parameters, we can write something like const, and do a const there. Then we say greetings. Then maybe we do a name, then an arrow sign. Then we can use the backtick to print out hello. Then we do maybe like something like name. Yeah. Whatever name we give this, since we are passing the name without the parentheses, it should be logged. We're going to call this function and passing the name as a string, then I think we need to console log this, or we can do an alert, but console log is faster. And we can see the name, the string is printed out here. So we can change this to maybe another cool name. Then we save, and hello Joe. That's the third way of writing arrow functions with parameters. The fourth way is with params. Arrow functions without, this should be without, sorry, without parameters. So we can do something like const get random number. This should be equal to, put the brackets, then we can use the math object. The arrow function, then we do math dot random. Then we do a console log, then we log get the random number, then we forgot to put the parentheses to call the function. So, and it's logging a random number. So this arrow function has no parameters. In comparison with the previous one, let me uncomment this. This one was passing the name. That's why when we call the function in this console log, we pass the name. So this is an arrow function with a parameter. This is an arrow function without a parameter. So let's move to the other arrow function. The fifth way you can write an arrow function is with implicit return. So with implicit return, it means we don't require the return keyword. If you'd like to just write one expression to square out numbers, we would do something like const square numbers. Then this would be equal to x multiplied by x. We can call this function and pass in x, which is 5. Then we'd like to comment out this. So we need to add now the console log, and it logs 25. So this way of writing arrow function, it does not have a return statement. A normal function or the default functions, they need to have a return. So that's another way of writing an arrow function. It's also possible, like if you check out, if you've used frameworks before, to see arrow functions written with returning object reiterers. So what do I mean? Maybe let me write the sixth way here. Suppose we want to create an object. Maybe we do something like create const create a person or person object. Suppose we are creating a person object, then we would give the equal sign. Then here we can pass the parameters. A person should have a name, then maybe they should have an age or any other parameter. Then we put arrow symbol. Then we can pass in the object reiterer. So we can do it by adding the brackets, then adding the curly brackets. This is very common in frameworks like React. So we can do a name, age. So that function simply returns an object reiterer. So what can we do here? We can call this function create a person. Then we need to do something here. Pass in the name of the person, who is Joe Doe. Then after passing the name, we put the age to be under 18. So we can console log close this then, and we have an object here. Now we have this arrow function giving us an object. That's another way to write an arrow function. I hope you found this useful, and if you did, kindly give this video a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe. I hope by the end of this video, you now have a solid understanding of arrow functions in JavaScript and how to use them. If you found value in this video, kindly consider giving it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe. Thank you.